Hierophant.
Hierophant. Okay.
Hierophant.
Hierophant. Hey, Bonnie. There's a deeper reason. It's the dance to a beat that feels good to me. Bonnie, is the music too loud? Is the music too loud? Thank you. It's me and Bonnie and someone else. Bonnie has a crown with a number 1. Does that mean you're my number 1 fan? Ooh. Bonnie said, first comment and of course number 1 fan. Okay, me and Bonnie, and oh, we have 2 more people. Great. Feel free to say hi in the chat. Feel free to share how you're participating today. I do have a Canva project available. Can I pin a comment? Yep. If you want to use Canva, check the pinned comment in the chat. Hi, Miranda. It's officially a party. Okay. To be honest, you are the only 2 that I'm expecting today, so let's just go ahead and get started. Yeah, Miranda has a crown and number 2. Ashton texted me. Okay. Bonnie loves an intimate group. Miranda, new YouTube features? Question mark, crown emoji. Hell yeah. Okay. Let's continue. Welcome to today's tarot art making class. Today we are making the Hierophant. And I definitely had to look up how to pronounce that, because I have been saying Hierophant, but I guess it's Hierophant. You guys know what we're doing here, so I won't give my normal introduction, but we're here to... I'll give the abridged version. We're here to be creative, we're here to tune into ourselves, reflect on our thoughts and our feelings. And just take some time for ourselves in this very demanding, often violent world. Feel free to dance a little bit as you get into it. So the Hierophant is the 6th card of the Major Arcana. But if you remember, the Fool was number 0, so that's why the Hierophant is number 5, at the top of the card. And of course, we gotta give our shout outs to Pamela Coleman Smith for illustrating the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. Thank you, Pamela. I love your vision. I love your creativity. I love your use of color. She really nailed her color story. Yeah, shout outs to Pamela Coleman Smith. Queer woman of color. If you want to learn more about her, Google is free. Ish. According to the Neo Tarot by Jericho Mandibur, who is also another queer woman of color, the Hierophant represents learning, tradition, conformity, religion, like religious institutions. And we're going to dive into the symbolism within the card. Before we start making our own. And if you are experiencing any sort of like video issues, if it's feeling laggy or not great quality, can you let me know in the chat? Because I currently have an error message on mine, and I mean, it's still going, so I'm just gonna keep going until somebody says it's not working. Okay. So Pamela Coleman Smith is a true genius, a master of the craft, and all of her cards have so much rich symbolism. They're so detailed. And the Hierophant is no exception. So there's a lot to see and a lot to interpret in this particular version of the Hierophant. So let's just get started. Bonnie said, beautiful as always over here. Perfect. Thank you, Bonnie. So in the background, you can see two pillars. And by the way, all of these interpretations, or all of these like symbolism, all of the symbolism came from two sources: A Complete Guide to the Tarot by Eden Gray and biddytarot.com. So these are just two perspectives that I'm using. As we often talk about in these classes, like there's a lot of different ways to interpret specific elements of each tarot card. So if you're curious to learn more, but of course you can do your own research, but for the purposes of today's call, these are the things that we're rolling with. So the pillar on the left can represent liberty, and the pillar on the right can represent law. And one of the things about the Hierophant is about balance and unity. And so these two pillars representing liberty and law are kind of a reminder that yes, there is structure. We live within a society that has order and governance, but we are free to decide if we want to follow those rules. We have the liberty to decide if we want to conform. And I personally appreciate that reminder, especially in the year 2025, when there's a lot of things that I personally don't want to conform to. As for the Hierophant themselves, you can see their right hand is in a religious blessing with two fingers pointing to heaven and two fingers pointing to earth. And that just means like, that shows how the Hierophant is kind of like a bridge between the cosmic realm and the material realm. So kind of similar to the magician in that way. They're like channeling the divine. There are two keys at the Hierophant's feet. And according to Biddy Tarot, they represent unlocking mysteries, and I really liked that because the Hierophant is all about knowledge and like teaching others a certain system of beliefs. And so the Hierophant has the keys to the mysteries of the divine, of the world, of spirit, and they are there to teach others. The other source that I used, A Complete Guide to the Tarot, said that the keys represent the union of lunar and solar energy, so like sun and moon, which is kind of cute too. That could kind of represent like the balance between good and evil, dark and light. At the Hierophant's feet, there are two people. Those are like disciples. They're followers of the Hierophant. They're learning what the Hierophant is teaching. And the yellow things on their backs, that represents a yoke. So being yoked, which is kind of like a terminology that appears in the Bible a lot. And being yoked just means a union of sorts, often referring to marriage, but not necessarily. And it comes from like when oxen are yoked together to pull a cart. Cars didn't exist back then. And each of these disciples is wearing a different robe. And so the person on the left has red roses on their robe, and that represents desire. And the person on the right has white lilies on their robe, and that represents thought. And so the combination of these two people is meant to represent like the balance between the thought and desire, and how they kind of support each other. Like in order to learn, you have to want to learn. Hi, Sam. Woohoo! Good to see you. Right now, we're just talking about the symbolism of the card, and then we're going to start making our own. On top of the Hierophant, they have a crown, a very elaborate crown, very luxe. And it has 3 tiers, which can represent the conscious, the subconscious, and the superconscious. Which I had never heard of the superconscious before doing this. So that's kind of like mystical powers. Sam said, I'm here. I need to share my tarot research with you sometime. Yes, please. I would love to learn more. And then finally, the last thing that I'll point out is the papal cross. Is it papal or papal? I don't know. I'll say papal for now. And that is just a status symbol. So the Hierophant is often, maybe not often, but is sometimes referred to as the Pope. So that just means they are at the height of the religious hierarchy. Like they are the wisest, most accomplished, most trusted religious leader. I got a new tea today and it's like citrusy. It was the store brand because it was on sale, and it tastes like a it tastes like a cheap tea. It does, but so if anyone has any questions or other observations about the Hierophant, feel free to put them in the chats. I would love to know how these things are landing with you, and yeah, we're about to make our own. So we're going to reflect on these themes. Feel free to incorporate some of these same symbols in your own if you want to, or do something completely different. It's very whatever you feel like. As always, you can make art. In the traditional sense, you can draw, paint. You can use the Canva project that I shared, which is, again, it's linked in the chat. It's linked in the chat and it's a pinned message. You can also dance or journal, sculpt, sew. The first one I did of these, somebody baked. I have yet to hear that again, so maybe you can turn this on in the background while you bake a cake or something. You also don't have to create anything. You can just sit and listen, stare at my beautiful face. But yeah, you guys know participation is highly encouraged but not required. Let's get into it. If you do want to use Canva, I recommend duplicating this template page that I've created, page 4. And to duplicate it, you can go to the icons above the page, and it's the third one from the left, or from the right. And it's 2 squares with a plus sign. And that way everyone's working on their own page. Loving you. Bonnie said, I am laughing at your jokes, you just can't hear it, LOL. Thank you, Bonnie. I personally think I'm funny, and I also don't care if anyone else thinks I'm funny, so... But I do love to know when people are laughing at me. So, as some of you, I don't know who all is here, but I know, Sam, this might be your first time joining, so the tarot cards that I have made so far, I have this particular aesthetic, and it's kind of like nostalgic toys and cartoons. So I've used like a Bratz doll, I've used Sailor Mars, Mewtwo. So today for the Hierophant, I chose Master Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Because he is wise, he is an elder, and he often has these like kind of spiritual words of advice for the turtles. I would say he's kind of like an equivalent of Yoda. Obviously different characters, but the same archetype. That's the word I'm looking for. He's an archetype of the wise master. And to me, that's giving Hierophant, so. As always, I have created some reflection questions to consider as you make your card. You don't have to use these, so feel free to like start doing your own thing. Have fun. All the power to you. But I will be walking us through these prompts. We'll spend 10 minutes on each one. And I like to do that just because I understand how hard it can be to create something. It can be hard to know, like, what should I draw, or what should I paint, or something like that. So I'm just kind of here to give some guidance, to inspire you a little bit. And again, if you're just listening, consider this like a meditation or just like a self-reflection practice. Me loving you, loving you, loving you, loving you all my life. And I'm actually going to change the music for this part. I discovered a new album today that I'm so excited about. It's called Human Form by Ziara. So that's what I'm going to listen to. Sam said, it's making me think of this character named Jax from the Bone season. I think I'll model my card around him. Oh, awesome. I have no idea what that is or who that is, so I'm excited to learn. So the first prompt is, what do you like to learn, and who do you learn from? The Hierophant as an archetype represents learning and advanced knowledge. And the Hierophant themselves is the teacher. And I think what stands out to me is that we are all teachers and we are all students. Like, we are both at the same time. So what do you like to learn? That can literally be anything, so use your imagination. It doesn't have to relate to anything we've talked about so far. So for me, I like to learn about Surprise, surprise, tarot. And also just like self-reflection slash spirituality in general. And you all know what the fucking vibe is. In this community, we learn from black women. In this community, we learn from queer women. In this community, we learn from indigenous women. Especially when we're learning about spiritual practices that were developed by cultures, indigenous cultures, who oftentimes don't get credit for the practices and the systems that they created. So some of the spiritual healers that I follow to learn about tarot are Jada K. Storytelling Tarot on YouTube. Highly recommend. Mix Mercury, the Astro Himbo. He does astrology and how that relates to current affairs, like current events, politics, things like that. He also does shadow work if you're interested in booking a session. So when you're making your Hierophant and you're thinking about what do you like to learn and who do you learn from, you can also think about the sensations around learning for you. Like what about learning excites you? What does that feel like when you learn something new or something that you're passionate about? What does that feel like in your body? Where do you feel that in your body? What color is that feeling? Does that feeling have a shape? Is it making any sound? Is it moving a certain way? So really get familiar with that feeling. Right now for me, like my ears are getting hot. That might just be because I'm hot, but like maybe not. And like for me, learning and wisdom is a very like cerebral space, so I like feel it like floating around my head. And I like that my ears are feeling hot because Master Splinter is a mouse and he has big ears, and so that kind of is like, it's all aligning in my head. So I'm gonna give Master Splinter an earring for sure. Originally I was picturing a hoop, but I kind of like this pearl situation. It's giving girl with the pearl earring. That's kind of cute. Let's see if there are anything else that I like better. Oh, these are funky. Ooh, I like these stars. Except I only need one. Can I? No, okay. think I like the stars because I was talking about learning about like tarot and spirituality, and stars are giving that. But I don't know if that's gonna work. So I'll just keep the pearl. Okay. I also like the Hierophant has a crown, because to me that's also representative of that like mental headspace that I associate with learning. Do I like these earrings? Sam said, is there any way to filter just for the free elements in Canva? I keep wondering and haven't figured it out. Yes, so if you go up to, in the Elements tab, if you go up to the search bar, on the right side of the search bar, there's the typical filter icon with like the 3 lines and the 3 like sliding scales. So if you click on that, there's an option to filter by price, so you can select free. I have Pro, so I'm not going to do that. This is also where you can filter for, like, if you just want a static image or an animated image, you can filter for that. Orientation, color. Hopefully that helps. Oh, Sam said I don't have that option on a free account. Okay, that that feels very discriminatory on Canva's part. Like, what is the point of having that as a filter option for only the Pro account? Because then you can access all of the elements anyways. That doesn't make any sense. Boo Canva, yeah, seriously. That makes no sense. Like, I would never need to filter for the free ones because I can use all of them. Whatever. Bonnie said I was never able to find that before either. I bet you that they do that because they want you to see all the premium ones to convince you to get the premium subscription. It's like a, this is what you're missing kind of thing. Is this tiara gonna work? I kind of like it. Bonnie said you can go to Google Images and use a remove background website if you like being extra. Oh, and Bonnie also shared an example website that you can do that. We love being extra here, so. Okay, I'm kind of liking what I have so far. I also like to learn about, what else do I like to learn about? I like to learn about liberation type stuff. I like to learn about plants and animals. Yeah, I've always liked learning. Lifelong learning is actually one of my core values. And I was telling my friend Sturgeon once, when I was talking about doing this card, I actually don't think I've ever pulled the Hierophant in a tarot reading. So this was the first time that I was actually learning about the Hierophant itself, because I don't remember ever like getting it in a reading. So let's move on to the next prompt. How are your belief systems connected to community? I included this because one aspect of the Hierophant that we haven't really talked about is how it represents religious institutions and group membership. And it kind of speaks to this idea that as humans, we like to be around people that share our beliefs. So I wanted us to think about that today. How do the people around us influence what we believe, if they do or not? Or even vice versa, how does what we believe influence the people we choose to surround ourselves with? Ooh, I like that one too. So I personally don't belong to any religion. I don't really belong to any institution at all. So the example that I'll use is the Check Your Privilege community, which for the record, that's how I know Samantha Beard. She's one of my friends from the CYP community. And since joining that community and like participating in the conversations, I have learned a lot. Like that is one of the like Maisha T. Hill is another person that I learned from. Sam is another person that I learned from. Other people in the CYP lounge, I learned from them. And for me, being in community with like-minded people, yes, I'm learning, and at the same time, I'm also becoming more affirmed in what I believe. Like being around other people that have similar beliefs really validates my own beliefs and helps me feel more firmly rooted in them. CYP, Sam said, CYP is great. I love the people I've got to learn from there. Desiree B. Stevens is another person I would shout out. Mitzi, Zoe, and Lindsay, yes. I could shout out a lot more people too. I'll shout out Angie and Carly too. Cool. So again, with this prompt, feel free to think about it abstractly, like how does like your community in terms of belief systems, how does that feel? What does that like look like to you? What other senses can you use to tap into that? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? What does it move like? Is there a particular color or a shape or texture that you would associate with how your belief systems are impacted by community? For me, the color that's coming up is purple because I was just talking about CYP, and one of the like brand colors for CYP is that really vibrant purple. I guess it's violet technically. And purple has always been my favorite color ever since I could perceive color. I am a purple girly down. And when I think about shared beliefs in community, like that is a very heart center concept for me. So I feel it in my chest and like kind of at the base of my throat because like when you're talking about your beliefs in community, like yeah, when you talk about your beliefs in community, you're using your throat chakra. Yeah. So I'm getting this energy like right around here at the base of my neck and chest. Samantha Beard said purple, teal, orange, pink. Yes, those are the C by P colors. So I wonder if I can do like a little ribbon on the neck. Oh, I don't want the Cancer ribbon. Oh, okay. Maybe bow. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Honestly, I like this one, so. I was kind of picturing it like underneath his chin, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. So, oh, I could. Should I put it on his waist? Maybe his wrist? Also, guys, I turned off my AC because I didn't want the sound of it to interfere with the live stream. I'm toasty. Oh, I could put it on his cane. Oh, yeah, that's cute. I'll put it right where that thing is. Oh my god, stop. So this Master Splinter figurine is the Master Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, which is an animated series that just came out, like, I think this year or maybe 2024. And I highly recommend. I personally love the Ninja Turtles. Speaking of purple being my favorite color, hello Donatello. Oh. Something went wrong. Reload the page, okay. It'd be really awkward if Canva stopped working. Sam said the earring is incredible. Thank you. Get back to what I was doing. Come on. I didn't really do much for this prompt. I literally just added a purple bow. That's okay. It's cute. Sam said there are no free graphics of sundials. Why are they so pricey? I don't know. How dare you want to be able to tell time? Okay. I didn't keep any of the prompts on my own page. What are your favorite traditions or rituals? So this one is really like, I think the Hierophant is technically mostly about religious institutions and like religious practices, but religion is not for everybody, myself included. Um, so feel free to think about any sort of tradition that you like and participate in, whether that's like a tradition you have in your family or friend group, maybe a tradition you have with your partner. If you're someone like me who's just a single gal living your best life, maybe you have your own traditions just for yourself. And even if you're not single, I highly recommend having your own traditions for yourself. So let me just be clear about that. So for example, one of my traditions, I have a birthday tradition of going to my favorite bar on my birthday. I don't drink anymore, so next time I go, I'll probably just get like a Coca-Cola or something. Or maybe I'll start a new tradition. One thing that I did last year is on Christmas Day, I went for a walk in the woods. I called it my wintry walk in the woods. And I think I might make that a Christmas tradition for myself. While I was walking, I like passed families that were out walking too, and I was like, oh, that's really, really cute. To like go for a walk on Christmas Day. You can also think about rituals. So me personally, I have like a full moon ritual. When it's warm enough, I go down to the lake and I watch the moon rise. Say my prayers to Mother Earth. Spirits, do a tarot reading. So what are your favorite traditions and rituals? And again, feel free to be abstract. Like when you participate in these traditions or rituals, what does that feel like? Imagine yourself like doing this ritual or tradition. How does that make you feel? Are there any like colors or shapes or textures that you would associate with that feeling of engaging in these practices? BB said, oh hey girl, thanks for coming. One of my traditions is going on a vacation for my birthday. Hell yeah. I love that tradition. Samantha said, waking up slowly, breathing into each part of my body and asking what it needs that day. Ooh. That is a delicious ritual. Bonnie said, watching a horror movie with my sibling and drinking pumpkin floats on Halloween. Pumpkin ice cream and cream soda? Ooh. Bonnie knows how to celebrate Halloween. I'm taking notes. I love that. Pumpkin float. Honestly, just pumpkin ice cream sounds delicious, so... I really wanted, like, a robe with moons on it, but I just don't think I'm ever going to be able to make that work. Okay, let's pivot. Maybe pants? No. BB said, morning walks and evening walks are a fave ritual. Yes, it is so important to get outside. Enjoying nature as nature. Oh, enjoying nature as nature is in that moment always feels like the universe trying to romance me. Ooh. I feel that too, and I never like use that particular language that you just used of the universe trying to romance me, but that made a lot of sense to me. Like I feel that way too. Like when I'm out walking in the woods or just on a path, like the flowers and the bees and the trees, like I feel like I have a relationship with them. It's definitely one of my favorite rituals too. Samantha said, that sounds amazing. Any ritual that involves horror movie is for me. You know, I'm not a horror movie girl. I'm just gonna be honest. But there are times when I like crave, like there are times when I have that craving, so I get it. I usually opt for like a creepy thriller kind of thing rather than a blood and gore horror. Pumpkin anything is pretty amazing. Yes, Bonnie. Miranda is going to Bonnie's house for Halloween. Yep. Sounds like a party to me. Oh. Back to what I was doing. I only have a couple minutes left on this one. I wanted to put some sort of like light and airy fabric on as a skirt because when I'm doing my full moon ritual and I'm like dancing along the shores of the lake, it feels very whimsical to me, and like I sometimes wish I had like a flowing loose skirt moment. I don't know if I'm gonna get what I'm looking for here. Like this, but not on a person. Are y'all sick of me adding skirts to characters yet? Because I'm not. In case you haven't picked up on this, I am very formulaic with my art. Add some jewelry, add a bow, add a skirt. Done. Just wait until I add a mustache. You know it's coming. I guess I could kind of make that work. Ooh, there's a pink one. As always, I'm gonna come back to this and like tweak it, but I wonder if I could like make it look like it's coming out of the belt. I think that's gonna be my best bet. Yeah. Oops. I think I can make that work. I'll come back and like tweak it. But I'll need to do one on the other side too. Oh. Yeah. It's not perfect, but it'll do for now. You get the idea. Okay. What's the last prompt? Do you prefer to conform to society or not? Okay. Ooh, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Sneak peek to other people's art. So me personally, I don't prefer to conform to society. I think for many years of my life, I did conform to society, and that was actually very harmful to me, and has required a great deal of personal healing to overcome, and will continue to require that. Like it's never done. However, multiple truths can exist at the same time, and I recognize that there are times when conforming to society is easier, safer, more comfortable. For me, like I do have male privilege. I am, for the most part, still perceived as male out in the world. And sometimes I definitely lean into that, and sometimes I definitely do that on purpose as a matter of safety. Sam said it can be a means of survival sometimes, exactly. Like, I'm not trying to get beat up when I'm going to the grocery store, just to be quite honest with you, so I got my baseball cap on. I'm just a man. And that is my privilege to claim that, to be able to do that. And so in situations like that, for me personally, I will conform. When it comes to relationships, I will be making the man pay for dinner. Yes. Yes, you can buy me dinner. So things like that. But for the most part, no. No, 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 no. So what does it feel like when you conform or don't conform? For me, when I'm not conforming, I feel very expansive. I feel very grand. Ooh, I like that word, grand. I feel grand. Snaps for that. I feel fulfilled. So, what is that for you? What does it feel like when you conform or when you don't conform? What colors are coming up for you? Are there any shapes or textures or sounds that you associate with conformity? Ooh, I have an idea. What's this? I'm thinking of chains because, like, I know, I'm gonna say it. It's very unoriginal, okay? When I'm thinking about conformity, yes, I'm thinking about chains. And I know that is not an original thought. So don't come for me. But I pictured these, like, chain belts on top of the skirt. Okay, that's not gonna work. Oh, there's some things happening in the chat. Sam said conformity is quiet in my mind, non-disruptive. Yes, I agree. Well, I affirm that for you. Like, I understand how conformity can feel quiet to you, because it's all about keeping the peace. It's prioritizing comfort and safety, and I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna draw attention to myself. It's giving this. Bonnie said, "Your Master Splinter is how I picture him after all the turtles move out of his sewer and he enjoys retired peace." Yes. Honestly, I bet you he looks like this even when they're just out in the city saving the world. I bet you he's not waiting till retirement to be himself. You know, he's too smart for that. Oh my god. If I put a lock and chain on Master Splinter's waist, is anyone going to accuse me of chastity king? Try it. Ah. Oh my god. BB said, I dance between rebellion and conformity. Conformity is a status game for me, but when I just want to be free in spirit, mind, body, etc., I have rebellion. Yeah. That makes sense. I think BB was also thinking chastity kink. Chastity belting my mans. Yeah. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, my Canva is like not cooperating, so I'll have to fix this later. But I'm personally quite tickled. Oh, I love what Bonnie said. Bonnie said conformity can keep a check, but liberation and rebellion can keep a soul. What more do we need to say? You do need a check, so there needs to be balance. Yeah, you gotta get your bag. You gotta get your bag. Yeah, the workplace is definitely one environment where conformity is almost a must. Because you don't want to get fired. Because you need to be able to pay the damn bills. I personally like to try to find little ways to be a nonconformist at work. But yeah, for the most part, you gotta play the game. All right, there's my Hierophant, a chastised master splinter. Oh, I crack myself up. Okay, we're gonna turn off the music. Now's the part of the program where I look at everyone's creations and give them so much love. Feel free to stick around for that. Or, in CYP, one of our community agreements is honor your time boundaries. If you gotta go, you gotta go. I'll be here for a few more minutes, chatting, reflecting, appreciating. But you do what you gotta do. The replay will be available if you ever want to come back to it. All of my tarot making classes are on my channel. If you go to my playlists, there's a whole playlist. After this, there will be 6 videos. So we're on our way to making our tarot decks together. BB said that's a word. I want to be fired, but also have residue income. Bonnie said malicious compliance is also fun at work. Follow orders and watch it fail. That is so Bonnie. Sam said big sign on that one. I am so tired of searching for a job. Yep. Sam, you and I are gonna get hired. We're gonna get hired. I feel it. Yes, you have some catching up to do, so on your own time, of course. All right, let's see what everyone else is doing. I don't know if I like this shirt anymore. Okay. Waiting for the stream to catch up. Okay. Ooh, whoa. Sam's Hierophant is gorgeous. Gorgeous. When I invited Sam, I said, I love having your creativity around me, and that is so true. Like, I just feel so energized by the things that Sam creates. I like to learn about people, how we think, how we experience our conscious experiences. I learn from everyone. Yes, everyone has something to teach me. I focus my learning energy toward people who are not like me. Yes, it's so important to learn other perspectives to mitigate any biases going on in your head. Community is my higher power. Community is where I find abundance. Sam's mentioning their ritual of waking up again. And Sam said conformity is so boring. I have always enjoyed expressing myself in ways that stand out. Amen. Okay, so first of all, I love the style of the main figure in this Hierophant card. It's like that vintagey newspaper ad kind of drawing that I think is very pretty. And I would love to see a whole deck in that style. And I'm sure there are a bunch already out there in the world, but I want to see one by Sam specifically. The keys, you gotta have the keys. Oh, the keys are also in a similar style, which I appreciate. We love cohesion. We do. We do. I love that Sam included the two pillars. We have a white pillar that's like modern looking, and then we have this more traditional architectural pillar, which I think is a beautiful and brilliant way to represent liberty and law, like the modern, more progressive side and the more traditional statuesque thing. I'm really tickled that this Hierophant has two crowns and they're just like tilted precariously on their head. It's kind of giving to me, like the way that I'm interpreting that is like knowledge is precarious. Like you can learn something, but if you're not like integrating that, you can lose it. Like for example, with a language, if you're not using that language, you forget how to speak in that language. That's why racial justice work is an ongoing, lifelong journey, because you can't just learn one thing one time. It's an active, ongoing practice of learning. And I feel like most knowledge that's worth having is that way too. So that's what it's giving to me personally. And the flowers in the background, love. I don't know if those are morning glories, but that's what I'm getting. Okay, Bonnie said the colors all work so beautifully. Yes, I didn't even talk about the colors. I love the green and the yellow and the black and white. So sophisticated. Sam said the columns are the Seven Dials Monument and Big Ben. The keys are separated because Jax reveals all secrets. He is a king with many crooked crowns. Wow. Okay, the lore. Oh, Bonnie said the lore dropped too. Yeah. Wow, Sam just spilled tea on Jax. So Jax not only unlocks the mysteries, he spills the beans. I love that, the way that Sam did that, separating the keys like that. Oh, and the alcoholism is definitely my nod to conformity here. Oh, okay. Yeah. Because there's a lot of pressure in society to drink and to overconsume and to, like, in any social situation, alcohol is almost guaranteed to be involved. And it's like, do we really need that? I think sobriety is having a moment right now because of this very reason. More and more people are saying, I actually don't want to conform anymore. I don't want to poison my body like this anymore. This character is the leader of an underground syndicate of supernatural people who are persecuted by non-supernatural people. Whoa, I would read that too. Sam said the flowers are nasturtiums. You learned something new. Hey, it's the Hierophant teaching me new things. And BB said, conformity makes us soul sick. Yeah, I love that that's like a theme that we're having here together. It makes me very grateful to know that the people here care for their souls and want to like preserve the health of their souls. Yeah, that's important. Thank you, Sam. I'm so glad you got to join today. There's mine. Bonnie. Bonnie with a Bonnie Classic watercolor. The Hierophant uses liberation to deconstruct structures until they work for all. Ooh. So the first thing that I want to say about this one is that Bonnie took the column and cracked it apart. And now not only is the column cracked and broken, it's also on fire. This is giving this is giving burn it all down. Bonnie said liberty and law. Mm-mm. Fuck your laws. I just want liberty. Amen. Um, yeah. I personally love these like rocks on the bottom, like the rubble. I love that style of art, and I know exactly like what collection that's coming from in Canva, and I love that. Um, yeah, and then the Hierophants themselves. Whoa. Okay, so the Hierophant is actually taking off their crown, and it almost looks like they're giving it away. They're saying this crown and my role are actually part of the structures that I don't want to be part of anymore. Wow, and they're saying, here's the crown, give the crown back to the people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I almost feel when I look at this card, I almost like see the backstory. I think the Hierophant is actually the one that started the fire and is burning down this governmental building or this religious building. Maybe it's a cathedral. Getting spicy. And they're saying, here's the crown back. I don't want this symbol of power anymore because this power belongs to us all. Power with, not power over. Sam said, I love the broken column. Very evocative, yep. BB said, this is a fire ass tarot card. It is. In every sense of the words. Bonnie said, he has his foot propped on the broken column in the watercolor too. Oh, that's the broken column. Cool. Power belongs to the people. He def started the fire, yeah. And I believe, Bonnie, your emperor also had a crown similar to this. I feel like I've seen this crown in one of your other cards. Maybe it was the Emperor or the Magician or something. But one of the things that I appreciate about a good tarot deck is how like the illustrations themselves are a progression. Oh, he did, yeah. So Bonnie's Emperor also had a crown just like this, with different gems. And so I like the way that Bonnie's tarot deck is telling a story. So the Emperor was wearing the crown in full power, and now the Hierophant is giving that crown away. Way to go, Bonnie. Sam said, radical liberated patriarchy is possible. That's what this is saying to me. Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Bonnie. As always, I love having you here. I love seeing your art. Oh, and here's Miranda. Okay. I'm trying to read the text. It looks like it's a excerpt from something about um oh, about Adam and Eve. I the color. Okay, first of all, Miranda is a genius. First and foremost, um, the colors, like to be honest, were kind of surprising to me. They are very bright and like very. There is almost like a playfulness in this like bright blue and bright yellow, and like even the like exclamations coming off. Is this a bison? A buffalo? Coming off the horns, like to me, it's very like whimsical and playful. And oh, this animal is also wearing earrings. Yeah, and I love that because learning can be like whimsical and playful, and like sometimes it's good to approach learning with like a childlike wonder, like, oh, what can I learn today? I don't think learning should stop in school. I don't think learning should stop once we've graduated high school or college. And that's the message that I am getting from Miranda's card is like also this bison is like a very ancient like symbol, and it's kind of ooh yeah, like that the age old wisdom of the bison is like playing with these like bright youthful colors, and I love that. Miranda said, I've been learning from indigenous voices as of late. Ooh. It's an excerpt from the book A Grandmother Begins the Story. Oh. I'm so proud of you, Miranda. I love your inspiration. Bonnie said Miranda's art is always so polished, looks like a magazine cover every time. It does look like a magazine cover. Now that Bonnie said that, I can picture Miranda's tarot deck like the words, like the names of the card in like that magazine title font, like up at the top, you know? You know how Vogue has like that very signature Vogue at the top. I can see that for Miranda's card, the Hierophant. Mhm. I also like how simple this is. Like Pamela Coleman Smith's Hierophant was very detailed, and there was a lot of symbolism in it. And I like the way Miranda stripped back the symbolism. What sometimes I get into my like art professor era, and I'm like, girl, settle down. Yeah, I really appreciate how Miranda stripped back the symbolism. Because yeah, this bison to me is like it feels like it's leading the way to knowledge, and I really appreciate that. Miranda will probably add more later. Yeah, it's never finished. Is that it? Thank you, Miranda. I'm so glad you were able to join. You guys are all my favorite. And that's it. We just made our own Hierophants. I have committed to doing this once a month. It's a new schedule for me. Supposedly the second to last Sunday of every month. But as we saw with this month, that can change. That can change. And so in August, the penultimate Sunday, we will be making the lovers. Ow, ow! I'm so excited to talk about the lovers. I think the time is right. The time is right to talk about love. As always, feel free to show your gratitude by tipping me on Venmo or Cash App if you want. I also accept words of affirmation and like support in your networks, you know. Tell your friends about this. Tell your friends about what I'm doing. That is a great way to support me. And I'm just very grateful to you all because you all make this very enjoyable for me, and I learn a lot from you every time. I feel like we are all a hierophant for each other. We all have different traditions to offer, different knowledge to offer. Miranda agrees. Learned from you all today. Bonnie said, it was so much fun. I really appreciate you hosting. Yep. Sam said, oh dang, I'll have to think of ways not to spoil things with that card. Perhaps talking about that series. Sam said, this was so much fun. Thank you for hosting and offering such yummy questions to think about while creating. It felt really satisfying to create with you all. I agree. Thank you all for being here. I love you. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you next month for the lovers. Bye.